Hello, welcome to the State of Baker, where we have the conversations that polite society does not want us to have. And hopefully, through structured conversation and debate, we can spread some knowledge to make sense of the world around us. As always, I encourage everybody to include yourself to get involved in your local community and your local government. Today, I want to talk to you about where we're headed as a nation. If you happen to know where we're headed, feel free to leave a comment and let me know, because I have no idea where we're going. Every day, I'm being told that we're a nation of unity, of justice, of opportunity. I'm not seeing that. What I see is riots. I see diversity. And by diversity, I mean we are literally creating more groups every single day for people to choose to be a part of or to not be a part of. Why don't we just have one group called Americans, American citizen? Whether you're born an American citizen or immigrate to America, you're an American citizen, regardless of your color of your skin, regardless of your religion, regardless of your ethnicity or wherever you came from. You're an American. I'm an equal opportunist. If you're here, you want to do the work, you want to take part in the American experiment, by all means, let's work together to make America better. To answer the question, where we're headed as a nation, for one, we have to look back at history and see what happened when countries and empires lost track of who they were and where they were going. If you look at Rome, Alexander the Great's empire, if you look at ancient Greece, all three of those civilizations started to fall when they forgot who they were and where they were headed as a nation. They lost their nationality, and it led to infighting and ultimately the fall of their civilization. If you look in America, that's kind of what we're seeing today. There's an individual by the name of Yuri Bezmenov. All right, he's a former KGB operative who defected to the United States, I believe in the 60s or 70s. You can find his video on YouTube. I'll try to find a link and post it here. But listen to what he says. Yeah, it's poor quality. The thing was shot in the 60s or 70s. But just listen to the guy, okay? He talks about Russia's plan back in like the 60s, the 50s and 60s. Back when Putin was running around. That's a long time. Think about it. Anyways, he was talking about Russia's plan to defeat America from within. He talked about their plan for using religion, essentially sowing seeds of discontent and hate amongst Americans in the form of our religious diversity, our ethnic diversity, and our culture, because they know that we are a melting pot of multi ethnicities, several religions, and there's enough in the pot for people to find something to be mad about. But as Americans, we have to look past that. At some point, we have to stop identifying with what makes us different and start identifying with what makes us American. What is the commonality that we have to work together to make America great? There's something that it was a message that I don't think was clearly heard or promoted as it should have been when Trump was in office. And that message was essentially that, America first. On the international stage, every other country is going to put their country first. I don't care what organization they're a member of. NATO, United Nations, World Trade Organization, any of these organizations are made up of individual countries that, whether you want to believe it or not, are still trying to promote their own interests ahead of others. When all is said and done, if we are not strong as a nation, if we do not have a national identity, if we do not believe that America is one nation, one people, under God, we're coming to the end of the ride, boys and girls. And the way it's looking, this younger generation coming up is strong advocates of socialism. I'm going to include two slides, socialism and one for communism. You're going to notice that when you read those slides, the definitions are very close together. They're actually separated by just a few words. Both the definitions are from the online Encyclopedia Britannica. I agree with the definition of socialism that they have. I do not agree with the definition of communism, right? Because if you look at the definition of communism, it states in there pretty clearly, essentially it will be public ownership and communal control of at least the major means of production, mines, mills, and factories. Go to Russia, go to China, and see if the people own anything. They don't. That is an important distinction that you have to understand when you're talking about the difference between socialism, which socialism is predominantly an ideology, because any country that ever advocates for socialism or tries to become a socialist society goes one of two ways. Either one, they become more of a free market capitalist economy, or they go down the hole of communism. It's one or the other. There's no medium. And I point to Scandinavia as a prime example of a country that, tried socialism, didn't work out the way they wanted to, and they started reverting to capitalistic ideas. Even Russia, after the fall of the Berlin Wall, fall of their Iron Curtain, they tried to institute capitalist ideals, and it didn't work as well as they wanted it to, because as a people, as a society, they had been communists for so long, they didn't know how to live their life without the government telling them what to do and where they want to work. Now, that's not the case for every person there, but that was the case for majority. But it's an important distinction that we need to understand, because when you listen to mainstream media, they don't differentiate, or if they try to differentiate, they try to put it in the best light possible, so that way individuals like you and me don't look at it and go, wait, no, I'm not going to sign on to that, right? So they try to keep it under the socialism umbrella when it's not. What they actually are talking about, what they want, is communism. And the definition for communism that I agree with, the world according to Baker, huh? Hey, that's fine. It's open for conversation. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. But when I say communism, I'm talking about in a country and a society where the government controls the means of production, right? The government, not the people. Now, they try and say that in communist society, the government is the party of the workers, the proletariat. Well, that's not the case. Why? It's actually more akin to an oligarchy, because you've got a very small group of people who are the industry leaders as well as the leaders in government, and they do everything they can to keep the power that they have, right? Class mobility is not a thing in those countries. In America, it is a thing because it is a capitalist country. You can make as much money as you want by the sweat of your brow. With COVID and the COVID stimulus checks and then forcing businesses to shut down, they are removing that social mobility or class mobility from our pool of opportunity, because the amount of small business owners that are now no longer owning businesses has put a giant dent in the income and opportunity. Not only that, but our schools have been closed for almost over a year now. I'm going on almost a year and a half. So what's the next generation going to do? They're already a year behind at school, right? And I feel like a lot of this can be resolved by coming together and deciding that we are going to be one nation under God, as our Pledge of Allegiance states, and moving forward to put America first. Because believe me, every other country is going to put themselves first. Just look at the Iran nuclear deal. They made a crap ton of money, never adhered to the policies, still got uranium, and we still paid them. And now we're trying to go back into the Iranian nuclear deal. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Anyways, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Again, thank you for listening. Real quick, I wanted to add this. This is actually some news that I heard earlier today from Robert Grueller at Watching the Watchers Live, the YouTube channel. He mentioned a situation that happened in Vail, Arizona, where there was a school board meeting, and the school board decided to leave the meeting early. The people in attendance to the meeting decided to elect a new board to finish the meeting. So they did, and it was the point of contention was over the mask mandate for Vail, Arizona. The people wanted the mask mandate gone. The board didn't want to hear it, so they left. You can see the main article from Political Notebook. There's that. It's got a pretty negative outlook on the individuals at the meeting who did this. However, go back and look at the social contract video. That's exactly what we talked about. We talked about individuals getting tired of their elected officials not listening to them and violating the social contract. Decided to elect a new board that would listen to them, that would take their social contract into account whenever they're making decisions and policies. Thank you from the state of Baker. Have a great night. Talk to you later on this week.